like that word.
You don't like the word ERP?
No, the other one.
Erotic?
No, I don't like that word.
Okay, but what are your thoughts on ERP and VRChat?
Honestly, just because of that word, it just makes me feel really gross. But like already, that's like I guess in a way, it's almost the same thing as watching just regular porn. But like it's just weird because it's with other people, like actual people. It's just I don't like it. It's yucky. But I'm also a shy person. Like I'm not I just don't do that to people. Like I'm just shy. I can't imagine myself saying those words out loud. Actually, I could, but like I don't want to.
What I think about ERP and VRChat, I'll be for real. I don't care. I don't care much about what people do in this game because like this game is like legit for free. Like you could do whatever, but like I do want to judge them because like sometimes they be doing it in public places when there's like legit kids that shouldn't have VR in the first place. But like what I say is to that is that I don't care what people do. Just don't involve any minors or like someone that is like not comfortable with it. Like do your own thing, but like do it at a private place.
I tried to like dive into it because it has drawn my curiosity of how, why, and how often they do it. Some are more, like advanced or more deep into it because it still gives me that dopamine even though they're not actually doing it while IRL wise. But they still somehow to find that pleasure, which kind of amazes me because they use like the toys, the phantom sands, or just like the connection of just having someone along with them, just being with them. I mean, being with them and also doing some freaky shit with them. But to my understanding of why, I feel like it's just like the loneliness, or just like that like this social isn't as great compared to like VRChat and IRL. Because if it feels like for like IRL, I'm not gonna speak to like most women, most men, but it seems harder for them to kind of like approach or to stand up to the standard because I always see if you've seen from like TikTok or like Twitter, they want like 10-inch, 13, like 100-foot yard football field. Like if it's lower than like 3, like what, like 8, they don't want. Like it creates like a whole like a mental thing for them. And for VR chats, it doesn't really matter because one, it's not real, and the creativity is unimaginable. I can make my character into anything, and then they do anything that my PC and or my Quest is capable of doing. And so I can fit to anyone's standard, adjusting to their liking and in order to my likings. So that's what I think so far about the whole ERP thing. I'm amazed by them, but also kind of like weird out as to why they do it. But whatever makes them have fun at night.
Oh god. Like I know that like sexting is a thing and all of that. It's just over the top. It's for people who are excessively horny. I personally don't see any real point in it. If you want to do something like that, like why don't you just video call someone, like I don't know. It's just cuz, I guess you look the way you wish you did in VR chat, but this isn't the place for that. Like I understand there's adults, but it's just kind of sad in my book.
So, I've never been involved in that kind of stuff, so I don't really know what that kind of stuff, like how that works. But I don't know. I try to stay away from that stuff, and I think people should be careful when it comes to ERPing and stuff, because you never know who's like the other person, right? So for me, at least, personally, I stay away from all of that.
Oh, I have some thoughts on that. So, just to kick it off, to quote an old boss of mine, because he was a family friend, and like I kept up, or he kept up with my life, and I told him about getting my headset. Basically, he said that when a man doesn't have to leave his house for sex, that's going to begin the downfall of humanity and society. Which, I mean, it's one of the driving factors of nature, so obviously very true it would. So I think ERP as it stands right now, like if that headset gets released that I was talking about and you have more sensation, you can feel stuff, then it's going to become more normalized, more generalized. Right now, even in VRChat, it's semi-normalized, but it's still also kind of taboo, which I understand. Me, myself, I don't partake in ERP. Like, I think it's kind of weird in a way. That's my own personal beliefs. I don't judge anybody for necessarily doing it. But, like, you gotta think about it. Two people in two completely separate locations in the world are choosing these random avatars and going through the motions as best they can to have sex. And that is enough for them. Like, I don't know if they're, like, masturbating while they're doing it or what's going on. I think the only acceptable way, I would say, and even this is still a little weird and taboo, but like I think the only acceptable way for ERP is say like you and a girl or you and a significant other and you decide like, oh, we want to try something different tonight. So you both put a headset on, get into a world and you go at it in real life and in the virtual world. Like at that point, it's kind of like wearing virtual lingerie. Like, as they're just doing it to see something different while you're doing it. But if it's just straight up, like, an avatar that can lay on its back and the other avatar that has a dick, I think that's, in a way, pointless. Like, if you're really that into somebody, you might as well just, like, have phone sex with them. Trade nudes back and forth. That's just my take on it.
I think that as long as it is like two consenting adults, just go ahead. I don't see any problem with it, honestly. Like if it's something that you want to do and like you are safe about it and whoever else is involved is cool with it, go ahead. I don't really see a problem. Like, do you?
I mean, it's strange, but like if it's two people, like just go for it. Just do it in a private world and you should be fine. I don't really care. As long as you don't do it in a fucking public session.
Like
you have to be like you have to be a rebel to do it in a public session. Just a person that does not give a shit.
Yeah.
No boundaries whatsoever. That doesn't exist in the person's mind when they're doing that shit in public. They're in a different state of mind. Yeah, they're like, their brain anatomy was like, I don't know, morphed differently during childhood. I don't know. Like, they're probably isolated, like, from society for, like, a long period of time as a child. So, like, their brain didn't develop properly. I don't know. Could be anything.
ERP. Yippee. A lot different than e-dating, I would say. It's definitely the next level for this game, especially for this game. I kind of find it a little sad, but then again, the risk of getting any kind of HIV, it's just down to zero. I mean, you know, you have no chance of getting infected, or not infected, but, you know, the chance of just passing that to another person, which could, I think, some cause death, if I'm not wrong. But it definitely reduces that risk by a lot. But also, I feel like it might make some people more egotistical about themselves than they are, I guess, because they've had sex in VRChat, which doesn't really necessarily equate to sex in real life. Two totally different things. You probably won't see that person. There's a chance that that person is just catfishing you, you know, just because, you know, you can. What this comes back to, you can be anything in VRChat, and there's no consequence to it. I mean, unless you obviously report the person, but the report system probably doesn't do too much, unless you get multiple reports for that person. And along with that, people can easily lie. Like going back to catfishing, they can easily just catfish you into saying, oh, I'm actually 18. Well, they might actually be 16 or 17, but want to have early sex with someone that's older than them, which then nothing can be done about that on this game. I mean, unless you get someone to expose them, but even still, they're just going to run away and find a different account and do it again on another platform or with another account. They'll just keep doing it without any consequence. I don't know if ERP has its benefits, but it also has its downfalls, just like anything else in any other game. So that's how I feel about that.